Welcome back to Beyond the Battlefield. Today we begin a turning point where Krishna starts to speak, not just about action, but about the mind. Today's verses 41 to 44 from chapter 2 show us exactly what distracts us, even when we think we're being spiritual. For the first time in the Gita, he introduces the psychology of clarity. And oh, how relevant that is, especially in our distracted, dopamine-hungry world. Ankur. This is the first time Krishna talks about mind, right?
Yes, that's significant. Until now, he addressed Arjuna's sorrow, his hesitation, his identity crisis. But in verse 41, Krishna introduces a word that becomes central in the Gita's inner journey, a resolute intellect. Verse 41 says, "The intellect of the resolute is single-pointed, O Kurunandana. But the intellect of the irresolute is many-branched and endless." You know, in many scriptures, the mind is compared to a monkey, but not just any monkey, a restless one that jumps from branch to branch, even without a reason. And even if you tie it down, it fidgets, it shifts. That's how our mind behaves when it lacks direction.
True. I open one app, then the next, and 10 minutes later, I forgot why I even picked up my phone.
Exactly. Krishna is saying without a resolute buddhi, your mind will keep jumping. Even when you sit down to focus, it'll keep whispering. What about that notification? Shouldn't you check LinkedIn? What if they don't like your idea?
Wait, so is Krishna saying the mind is the enemy?
Not quite. He's both friend and enemy. But here, he's revealing the structure of the inner instrument. It has 4 parts: mind, intellect, ego, and memory. The mind desires, wanders, gets attached. The intellect, that's the decision maker. The ego says, "This is me." And memory stores impressions. So when the intellect is unclear or misinformed, the mind attaches itself to the wrong things. Let's say your intellect decides fame is the ultimate goal. Your mind will start craving likes, recognition, applause. But if your intellect shifts and says peace is more important than praise, suddenly your mind will start seeking solitude, reflection, calm.
So if I keep thinking about someone or some situation again and again, maybe it's not just the heart. It's because my intellect has assigned value to it?
Exactly. Our intellect is like the captain and the mind is the ship. If the captain has no map, the ship just goes wherever the wind takes it.
So what does Krishna mean by resolute intellect? Is it like discipline?
Not just discipline, it's clarity fused with conviction. It's a mind guided by a trained intellect, which is anchored in something higher than temporary rewards.
That's so beautiful. Like, when I stop chasing outcomes, my mind becomes one-pointed. Not because I force it, but because it has nothing else to chase.
In the higher stages of inner work, this clarity becomes so intense that nothing can distract the seeker. Even if the whole world criticizes them, even if the path is full of thorns, they move ahead, like an arrow released from the bow.
Wow. And the rest of us are sitting with monkey minds, scrolling.
Let me give you 2 snapshots. First, imagine your mind at home. It wants to relax, lounge, scroll, snack. But the moment you walk into office, your intellect takes charge. Be formal, sit straight, stay focused. Even if the mind resists, you adapt because your intellect has set the tone. Now here's the real game changer.
Tell me.
Picture two leaders. One is a startup founder with razor sharp clarity. She knows her mission. Even if there are 100 distractions, she stays on course because her intellect is one pointed. The other is a CEO chasing 10 metrics at once: revenue, brand, morale, investor buzz, personal legacy, all important but scattered. And that's exactly what Krishna calls a many branched intellect.
So even leadership isn't about doing more. It's about doing what matters, with clarity.
Yes, one pointed intellect doesn't mean narrow mindedness. It means you've chosen your true north and you're willing to walk through fire for it.
So if I had to sum up this verse, it's not about cutting off desires. It's about clarifying your destination. Once you know what you really want, the noise fades, the branches fall away, and your mind becomes one-pointed.
Exactly. You stop chasing everything because you've already found your path.
But what happens when we don't have that clarity? What fills the void?
That's where verses 42 to 44 show us exactly what distracts us. These verses speak of people enchanted by flowery language, obsessed with rituals, promises of heaven, and enjoyment in this world or the next. They speak loudly of Vedic wisdom, but their minds are absorbed in desire. And because of that attachment, they cannot develop a focused or resolute intellect.
What does Krishna mean by flowery words?
Think of today's self-help clickbait. Unlock abundance in 3 steps. How to manifest a millionaire life. This mantra guarantees success. They use spiritual language but appeal to our most basic desires: money, power, heaven, attention. That's what Krishna means by flowery language that blooms on the surface but is rooted in craving. Now picture a corporate worker. She started with purpose, passion, a dream to create impact, but somewhere along the way, her calendar became packed with checklists, KPIs, appraisal cycles. She still works hard, but for what? For bonuses, for a title, for someone else's approval. This is mind obsessed not with depth, but with reward.
And then there's the open tabs syndrome.
Yes, the many branched intellect. You try to meditate and 10 thoughts pop up. You sit to write but end up checking 4 apps. You commit to a project, then question it every week. You feel busy but not purposeful, productive but not peaceful. Krishna says such a mind cannot hold clarity.
So what's the antidote?
Karma Yoga, and it's beautifully simple in form. Action minus desire equals the yoga of action. And Krishna goes deeper. It's not enough to let go of earthly desires. You must also let go of heavenly ones. Even the desire to attain heaven, if it's born out of gain, becomes bondage.
But isn't every action in some way motivated by desire?
There is a state, rare but real, where action flows like a river. Not to get something, but because something inside is overflowing. Like a flower blooming because it must. Not to be seen, not to be praised, just blooming. This is the core of Karma Yoga.
So even in leadership, if I'm operating only for outcomes, promotions, applause, legacy, I'm not in yoga?
You're not. Yoga begins when your action becomes a gift, not a gamble. Are you working because something inside you believes in it, or because you hope something outside will reward you? That's the filter. Even our prayers become negotiations. God, help me get this job. Let my child succeed. I will fast, so you grant this wish. But Krishna says, if your worship is full of desire, it's not worship. If your action is full of expectation, it's not yoga. If your kindness expects gratitude, it's still a trade.
So maybe, even once a day. If I could do one action without expecting anything back. Not praise, not progress, not even a thank you. I could begin to understand Karma Yoga. And if you are looking more carroty, do not forget to check out our exclusive GPT companion link in description. BYB Interactive. It's your space to interact, explore more insights from the Gita, or just continue the conversation at your own pace. Next time, we go deeper. Krishna reveals how even the smallest effort on this path can never be wasted, and how it protects us from the greatest fear. Until then, work from fullness and let go.